All right. Hello, everybody. Heidi Foy here with Bullfrog Creatives. So we're a little not quite as consistent as we were in 2020 because other things are going on. And while it does take me away from Bullfrog Creatives, it also pays the bills. So let's be honest about that. Today we are going to visit with Tyree Cochrane, who is the student director for the West Coast region, but also the student NIRA president. So she's going to have a little bit of insight that maybe some of the other directors wouldn't have, but certainly has some experience that we're going to learn about. All right, you guys stay tuned. All right, we are back. Thank you so much for joining me. I know that nobody likes to be on Facebook Live, and
Right.
yeah, nobody likes to. I do, which that's because I'm kind of a different breed, anyways.
I can never get it to work.
Well, I can't say that I always get it to work. So sometimes it doesn't work at all, and then I just have to repost. So we both have that in common. And I did learn technology is one of those, I don't know, last year, I feel like really made it possible for everyone to just give a little bit more grace. So video doesn't have to be perfect anymore, which is perfect for me because there's no video that's perfect. And while I'm in my office and I don't have my kids in the background, inevitably something always kind of comes up anyway. So I am thankful for 2020 for that, a little more grace in the world. So, Tyree, just tell me a little bit about yourself first.
So I did all of my undergrad at Cal Poly, and I just started my master's here this year.
Okay.
So currently, I'm our student region director, the national president, and I also assistant coach. Kind of, we have a whole team this year, so it's a little different than we would normally have.
Mhm.
And then my master's is in animal science. That's what my bachelor's degree is in, and rodeoed all 4 years at Cal Poly. So that's where I'm at in life.
Yeah. So, for those of you guys that are new to our platform, we did have the coach for Cal Poly on, Ben, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Okay, we did have Ben on last year when we were doing our recruiting profiles. So if you are interested in the program, look us up, and maybe if I remember, I'll reshare that. But I was super, super impressed from my conversation with Ben about the college. It's kind of I don't know. It felt different. Academics really are what Cal Poly is all about, and rodeo is just a bonus. Which some programs are like that, but Cal Poly was really, I don't know, just really stood out for me in my memory as far as the colleges that I spoke to. So it's impressive that you're getting your master's degree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm super excited. And it worked out because Ben put together a master's in ag ed program specifically for assistant coaches on the rodeo team. And so we've been doing that. I think this is the fourth year. And so he has that program, which was my initial plan. And then COVID hit and I lost a year. And so I took that advantage of having that extra year of eligibility to do a 2-year master's. So this will be my first year, and then I'll get to do my second year next year and rodeo both of those years.
So that's a really great idea. He put that master's program in so that students could still help with the rodeo program. That's a great idea because y'all bring so much expertise in kind of how college rodeo works to provide, to give back to the younger, I don't know, the underclassmen, so to speak.
Right. And this year is super cool because there's 7 of us that are master's students. I'm the only animal science one. And so I kind of do basically the bare minimum as far as assistant coaching goes. Like I make it to the practice sessions that I can, and then I organize all of our stalls here at the rodeo grounds. But one of the girls, we have one that's academic advisor, one that's social media, one that's sponsorship, one that's the women's assistant coach. And we have 2 boys. One is in charge of like feed and stock and making sure everything's doctored. And then the other is the men's assistant coach.
That's a brilliant idea.
It's a really
because,
awesome team.
and I would say too that, and I've run across this also, that coaches don't have time
Oh,
to
no.
manage the social media page.
No.
And I would also say that it's super important because you have alumni that's still following, you have parents whose kids are going there now and they want to know what's going on.
Yep.
But I mean, just speaking locally, Casper College Rodeo Program has over 3,500 followers.
Yeah.
And they want to know. I mean, they have a vested interest in the rodeo program because their sister went there or they went there or, whatever it is. But for the most part, listen, I love you coaches, but sometimes y'all don't know what you're doing on social media. So
Yeah.
if you can tap into the younger generation and have them help with that, that's a great idea.
Yeah, it works really well. And Ben doesn't even have a Facebook to begin with.
Yeah.
So having a student run it is definitely really helpful. And then as far as West Coast region goes, I run our Facebook with our secretary, Shauna. And so like she can post results as she does them. And then I post like all the rodeo info and the draws and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Just more
And that's something
information.
that I've seen too. Probably, and I mean, I noticed it more last year because I was looking for stuff on college rodeo, but probably in the last 2 to 3 years, each region has, most of them are private at this point now, but each region has a Facebook page or group to post that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Which,
yeah, I've noticed a lot have like Facebook groups. Ours is like a public page kind of deal. So either way, I think both of them work really good.
Yeah. And I think too, you then create, like I use the hashtag road to the CNFR, whatever the
I
year
like
is, and so then y'all can create that kind of momentum for yourselves too, because really there are like lifetime college rodeo fans, that just enjoy, because it is different. It's different. It's just a different level of competition than watching a PRCA rodeo. The whole college try, it just is more prevalent at a college
it
rodeo.
comes out.
Yeah. And so I think that being able to create that, I don't know, that PR frenzy before you get to Casper, it only strengthens the fan base.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So talk to us a little bit about, as the, we've talked about like what student directors do, but what's the difference between that position and the elected position of the student president?
So as student president, as a region director, you're on the board of directors. As student president, you're also on the executive board. So like any kids that file for like I can tell you what an appeal goes through our board. So we look at all those. And then at the national meetings, instead of just being like there in the meeting, I run the meeting, call roll, like that sort of thing. As far as in the meeting kind of thing, like just as far as making sure we hit all the agenda points, I don't do much different than a normal meeting. This December meeting will be my first meeting as acting president.
Okay.
So I'm excited for that and I'm ready to be there.
So how many, I know the answer to this, but I don't know that everybody else does. How many, I guess, board meetings do you guys have in a year?
So COVID year, we did a lot of Zoom meetings. We had like 3 or 4, just because we had one leading up to Casper. And then once Casper was canceled, we had our summer board meeting over Zoom. And then we had another one going into the fall just to kind of touch base with every region and figure out what was happening and if they were having rodeos. And then our winter board meeting that year was also on Zoom. But on a normal year, we have our summer board meeting at Casper and our winter board meeting at NFR at South Point.
Yeah, bummer.
Right? So rough.
So talk to me about what you guys talk about. Is it different from the summer meeting to the December meeting? And then what do you guys talk about?
Yeah, the summer meeting is a lot more like we hand out a lot of scholarships at CNFR. We talk a lot about just running CNFR. It's more of like CNFR based meeting, whereas in December we take care of a lot of NIRA and NIRA Foundation meeting stuff. So that's kind of the difference between the two from my experience.
So CNFR production wise, like who the contract personnel will be, who's coming back next year, and then NIRA stuff, like approved college rodeos If you have any new colleges that want to come on board.
Yeah,
Um,
and we talk about rule proposals. There's
Gotcha.
rule proposals kind of go at both
Mhm,
meetings, but mostly at winter board meeting, we talk more about them, have more time to talk about them.
mhm,
Whereas at CNFR, we're focused on that and trying to get through everything so
mhm.
that we make sure and hit all our points.
Yeah, because you have a little bit more. I mean, I assume you have limited time at each meeting, but
Mhm.
really limited during the college finals because you've got to get out of that room for
Yeah.
that evening's performance or whatever else is
Mhm.
coming. So
Mhm.
in December, you guys will meet. How long will you meet in December?
So the last time before COVID that we met in December was we met Wednesday afternoon, all day Thursday, and like half a day, 2/3 of a day on Friday. They tell us the like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is usually like if just an extra day
Max.
in case
Yeah.
something comes up.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and it's good too because it gives you guys an opportunity. I assume that a lot of the national sponsors are also at the NFR,
yeah.
so
So
it
we
gives you
have meetings with
opportunities.
them. Yeah. Our Maynard Buckles comes and
Mhm.
talks to us. Cactus comes and talks to us. I can't remember the last time. I don't think Cinch came, but they come to CNFR and stuff.
Mhm.
So that's pretty, we get to talk to a lot of them.
Perfect. So, what types of things? I guess I know we talked about it a lot here. We actually had Jim Dewey and Roger on during the CNFR morning show, and so we kind
Yeah.
of talked about that transition,
Yeah.
which Jim and I, Jim, Jim Dewey and I were hired at the same time when Roger started as the commissioner. He as the arena director, and me to do the openings,
Hmm.
and we both like it's going to be hard to see Roger go because he's been a part of the organization for so much longer than just the time that he was dedicated as the commissioner.
Yeah.
But he for me really gave me an opportunity to step out of my comfort zone and do something that I never had really had on my radar even, but it was a great way for me to stay involved with college or with college rodeo. And
Yeah.
so Jim Dewey kind of felt that same way. And now Jim Dewey is going to be stepping in as the commissioner.
Yes.
Technically, he was chosen for the position
Hmm.
at the college finals,
Yep.
but does not take over until January 1.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a little bit of training session here, like for
Yeah.
Jim Dewey to kind of learn from Roger about the behind the scenes stuff
Yep.
that probably nobody even realizes what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like
And
Roger does so much like that nobody even knows about until he's like, oh, yeah, I did this and this
yeah,
came of that. And
I
we're like,
handled
you
that.
did what?
Yeah. When did
So,
that happen?
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
Jim Dewey's kind of getting that break in now, and then he'll be able to make. I have talked to him clearly
Mhm.
a couple of times, but he's going to be making his kind of first presentation and any ideas that he has at the board meeting in December. So this will be kind of your guys'
Yep.
first time, I assume, to kind of hear him explain more of potentially what he had in his application.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
So I guess what are you hoping to hear? What are you expecting to hear? I mean, I think everybody
Ooh.
has an idea of like where they want the organization to go. Like, do you have any ideas that you'd like to see implemented?
I think that we can do, as an organization, we can do better on the social media front. It's hard because, like, our national office is busy with all the
Yeah.
paperwork side of everything. The commissioner really shouldn't have that on their plate,
Hmm.
too. But at the same time, like, do you just have a student director do it? Have the student president do it? What's the best way to go about that?
Yeah.
Because it's hard to do social media pages when it gets handed off every year, like,
Yes.
to someone new.
Well,
And
and
so
yeah. And
I,
social media plays such a it's changed. I mean, 2020 and COVID changed a lot,
yeah,
good and
yeah,
bad, for
yes.
sure. But it changed where people are getting their information. And it
Mhm.
kind of made, I have a love hate relationship with social media because I have children and I don't want them
Mhm.
ever on it.
Yeah,
And at the same time, I run, Bullfrog Creatives really, really came to fruition on
yeah,
social media. And so I can't just step away. I can't take a
yeah,
break because then everything stops on my business pages for real estate and for this. And so
Yeah.
you really, there's so much to be said about what you said about, like, if you have somebody change every year that's doing it, then the whole feel of the page also changes. And it,
Right.
if you can provide that consistency from the organization standpoint, then it becomes clear. And I think that I will say, and I assume that this is from the directors, the student directors, that the regional pages is such a great idea.
Yeah. There's a
Even just
couple
from
of
a
them.
communication standpoint.
Yeah, I'm on a couple of them, and I think like a couple of the groups are run strictly by the region secretaries,
Mhm.
which they have a lot on their plate, especially at a rodeo. So that is amazing to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think opening the lines of communication between just the contestants is only, like, that's just one facet of where it could go. So I'm happy to hear you say that. What else do you think?
I think it's going to be really interesting this next year at CNFR to see how we or who we have as an arena director, because Jim Dewey did a fantastic job, and
For 11, 12 years?
yeah, a long time.
Well, 13, I think, because Roger
Yeah.
was, yeah. So I think it was 13
Yep.
years. Um, yes. And I
Yeah.
will add too, even as a local, I've been involved with it for a long time.
Mhm.
But that person plays a really large role as far as the local committee and who we work
Yeah.
with from a local standpoint the most. And so, I mean, I think there's a group of people here in Casper that are talking about that also.
Yeah, because that he left some big shoes to fill, and the amount of time like that he spent in Casper as arena director, getting everything ready
Mhm.
and set up, and working with the local community to make that happen. Like, there's a lot of connections there that somebody's gonna have to keep up with.
Yeah, yeah. And it makes sense. And I think most everyone on this platform knows I also applied for the position of commissioner.
Mhm.
And like, I have no hard feelings. I clearly want the best, like the best for the organization, but it's a logical transition to go from arena director to commissioner.
Yeah.
And then you have this other hole to fill. And so
Mhm.
I think you are also, I mean, many in the organization, maybe students don't think about that kind of stuff at this point.
Yeah.
But definitely the community as well is kind of waiting for that decision also to be made. So
Mhm.
what else?
Definitely foresee that being a big topic at our winter board meeting.
Yes. So, okay, let's talk about that. Is that a decision solely made by Roger, or Jim Dewey in
From
this?
what I understand, it's the commissioner's decision.
Okay.
Yep.
And then y'all would kind of vote on it, I assume, after that first year.
Yeah, I'm not I'm pretty sure that's solely a commissioner decision, but I know that like when Roger made the decision, he had input from
Mhm.
people in the board and valued their opinion in his
Right, right.
decision.
Yeah, I mean, even when you are the commissioner, you still, even when you have the freedom to operate as a silo,
Mhm.
you really never do, because
Right,
it is a board driven and board run organization in the
right.
end.
Yep.
So, all right. So I guess, do you have any other inside tips or inside knowledge you can share with us?
Um,
No.
as far as like being a college rodeo athlete, like I
Yeah.
definitely put my academics first.
Mhm.
And that's part of being at Cal Poly. Like, that's what you have to do. Like, it's quarter systems. You have 10 weeks to do your classes, and it's hard to graduate in 4 years with any degree.
Yeah.
And so, just putting the time in and making sure you put that first. And coming from someone who took 22 unit quarters my sophomore year and did all 4 events and worked at our equine unit on campus,
Mhm.
I kind of overcommitted that quarter. So
Yeah, no kidding.
there's a fine line between running too hard and doing just the right amount. So find that and use that to your advantage when you're in school.
So what tips do you have for a current student athlete that or even, I mean, even a high school kid, but that has a desire to serve in your capacity, maybe not as national president, but like as a student director?
Yeah, I just ask. Like that's what I did my sophomore year. Yeah. After that quarter, then I asked if I could be student region director too.
Right.
So
Add some more.
yeah, pick some more stuff, do some more stuff. Just ask about it because I knew who the student region director was and I knew kind of what they did. So I asked about it and then got elected in our region and then found out that we actually pay our student region director and there's like you go to these board meetings and you do this and you get to go to NFR at this board meeting and I was like I didn't know any of that, but cool, I'm in. So
do all of the regions pay their student directors?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think talking before our grand entry powwows at CNFR this year, I'm pretty sure every student region director gets paid in some form or fashion, except Quincy. Quincy was the only one that said she didn't get paid.
The Central Rocky Mountain region. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. So I don't know what their deal is, but and it's like it's not a huge
Yeah, it's
amount.
probably not a lot.
It's like 10 cents per contestant or something in our region is how they calculate it. I don't
So you're
know.
really on the recruitment side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
So-
pretty fun.
The other things that, I mean, on top of like serving, I don't know, on top of sitting on these boards, you do have weekend, like every rodeo, you're doing things. So you have to
Yeah.
pack sponsor flags to every rodeo. You have to make sure those flags are presented, the banners are hung. Like it's more, it is a job for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And with our regional rodeos last year, we'd had Course Gold Rodeo Grounds helped us put together 3 days there. Red Bluff helped us put on 3 days there during their fair. And then we went to South Point, Las Vegas for our regional finals. And so at most of our, well, at Red Bluff and Course Gold for sure, Ben and I were basically arena directors for everything because it was a regional rodeo. And so we did like assign different schools, different events to work so that we could all pitch in. And it's hard also because Cal Poly has 70 kids and the other programs have 10, 15, 20 kids. And so we fill in holes wherever and we try to. And if kids don't help, then they hear about it and get voluntold to help. So it was a really different atmosphere putting on regional rodeos rather than
each college
putting on their own. Yeah.
So, and that was just due primarily to the situation because y'all West Coast didn't have any rodeos last fall.
No.
And so all of your rodeos were held in the spring.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
We were actually only going to have 6. We were going to have the 3 at Course Gold and the 3 at Red Bluff and then go to CNFR how it was. But we got to work with South Point and the national office let us push back like as late as possible for our last 2 rodeos. So we ended up pulling out our regional finals at Vegas.
Very cool. Yeah. All right, man. I think that's it. If we do have a few people joining us live and several thumbs up, if you guys have any questions for Tyree, either at a national level or regional level, you guys can comment here or you can just message me and I can make that connection for you guys. I also will try to find the video so we can learn more about Cal Poly again. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming on. Next week, I believe, I probably should have wrote this down. Next week, we have Dr. Al Wagner, who's going to join us. And he's going to talk about what's going on in his rodeo program and their region. And then the week after that, I do not know. We just kind of fly by the seat of our pants around here because it's life. You just never
shameless plug. Here's our Cal Poly rodeo in the football stadium.
Very cool. So do you guys have your rodeo there every year?
We have this coming year. We are not going to get to use the stadium because they're turfing it. So there's going to be construction going on, but we're going to go back to the good old days and have it in our practice arena and just get back to our Cal Poly roots.
Back to your roots. Yeah, that's cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Again, if y'all have any questions for Miss Tyree, national level or just West Coast region or specifically Cal Poly, you can message me, and I can get you her contact, or I can make that connection for you guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to kind of drop you off, and you're more than welcome to go about your day. But thanks again, and I look forward to meeting you next year.
Yeah, we'll see you at Casper.
Yeah. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. I am trying to get every region to be represented on the Outside the Arena broadcast, but as you can imagine, everybody's busy, especially this time of year as we approach the holidays. Just keep tuning in, tag people if you know of kids in high school that are looking at certain colleges. Send them my way. I do consults for recruiting, and we'd be more than happy to have conversations with students and parents. Yeah, you guys have a wonderful day. And if you cannot tune in next week, you guys have a great Thanksgiving.